Put my right foot in, put my left foot in, and then I'm in. What's up, everybody? This is a Vanderhall Venice Speedster. Vanderhall is a company based out of Utah that is building three-wheelers, 2 in the front, 1 in the back, similar to the layout of my beloved Morgan three-wheeler, one of my favorite vehicles I've driven of all time. What they're doing here is making a slightly more approachable and affordable version. Instead of a driven wheel out back, we have the engine driving the front 2 wheels. Instead of an S&S motorcycle engine, we have a GM 1.4 liter turbocharged Ecotec engine, which here makes 180 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque, and it's backed up by a 6-speed automatic gearbox. This one is outfitted with an optional bump shifter down here on the left. The Venice is the entry-level Vanderhall. This is the Speedster, which means they've taken one of the seats out, and they've added this crazy bodywork to turn this into a single-seater, and it is now the absolutely most affordable version in Vanderhall's lineup. This one starts at a bit over $26,000. Now that's a lot of money for a toy, but it is not a lot of money in the 3-wheel space, unless you're looking at the Polaris, and please don't, because it's ugly. This one is not ugly. This one is reminiscent of vintage open-wheel motoring. Does it drive like a vintage open-wheel motorer? I'm gonna fire it up and find out. Glasses on. So let's take a moment to talk about the driving experience. Now, well, first let's talk about the looks. I like the looks. I like what they've done here. I like the shark-like aesthetic with the faux gills on the side. I don't get why it needs to be a single-seater though, unless they were gonna go full bore and move it to a center mount seat. That would be pretty cool. Otherwise, it just seems like there should be a seat here. So we don't get that. At least it's cheaper though. They're not charging you more for it. You know, Porsche would charge you more for doing something like this. This wood rim steering wheel is fantastic. It feels good, it looks good, it fits the aesthetic, especially having those 2 wheels opened up in front of you. I really love the look and feel of open wheel, wooden steering wheel, and the gauge cluster right here in front of you that's easy to read. I like all of that. I like the seat is super comfortable. This is a really comfortable seat, so that's nice too. These mirrors are actually very useful. I wouldn't mind seeing a third mirror, like a square mirror set right there. That would be kind of nice. Maybe they could sell that as an option or something. Now, onto the driving. The steering is great. It responds fine to the steering. It's quick. You feel it. It's not being unfiltered. It's not being filtered out. You can feel what's going on there. The throttle is responsive enough that GM engine feels like it needs to spool for a second and then goes. The engine noise gets really annoying. The constant breathiness of the turbo and the wastegate, just if you're in stop and go traffic in this thing, it's just like and it just gets tiring. It's a little bit too much. I wouldn't mind being a little better concealed from that noise. I like turbo noise. I like some of that. It just seems over the top here, even though this is, I guess, an over the top vehicle. I find myself just driving in D because the bump shifter works fine for upshifts and I cannot get it to downshift for the life of me.
Hold up, I have something to tell you. Vanderhall reached out after I gave the vehicle back to them and said the bump shifter was broken, which makes a lot of sense and why I didn't like the way it operated. They fixed it, they gave it back to me, and I am happy to report that it actually works pretty well. So ignore the rest of what I have to say about the bump shifter and we'll go back to the review now.
It needs like a hit in a different angle, or the linkage is jacked up or something, but I feel like I should just be able to slap it, and it doesn't want to do that. I'm in first right now, so if I, let me just see what happens. So I'll bring it back, and if I, so that was second and third. There's the gauge that tells you right there. But see, now it went into second easily, but it's like that, it's kind of clunky. That's what. So just drive it and drive, and it's fine. I wish that was a little bit cleaner. I don't know if it's just been abused by other journalists, which is totally possible. So on to the actual driving experience itself. Three-wheelers are fun. I loved the time I've spent with Morgan three-wheelers. I'm gonna be honest here. I went into this expecting to just absolutely hate it, but I like it. I like that it is a three-wheeler that's a little bit on the more affordable side. All three-wheelers are expensive, but at least this one is, you know, below 30. Morgan three-wheelers are crazy expensive for things that are as old as your grandparents or older. Even though they're new, they're, you know, whatever. I would much prefer the noise of the Morgan S&S engine up front over this GM engine. But the fit and finish in here, again, the seat is super comfortable. There's Bluetooth and an audio system. This is a heated seat. There's two fans right there to cool your junk off, which is, you know, greatly appreciated. Not today, because it's a little chilly out. But overall, this is a nice looking machine. It's cool. I'm not down with the front drive setup, and then that leads us to the biggest knock against the Vanderhall. All of them, really, except for the coming electric ones, and they are doing electric ones. All of the weight is on the nose, and those front tires have to do everything. So they have to steer, they have to deliver power, and they have to haul this thing down, which is fine. Front wheels should do most of the braking. However, this thing is really light in the back. The weight balance feels like it's 90-10. If you're under really hard braking, things can get squirrely really quick. So you have to be on top of it. I think the average person who buys this, though, is just going to use it for cruising, which is fine. That's all you really should use it for. And then you'll be good. I don't think anybody's going to be tracking these, but I would like to see Vanderhall work on revising the weight distribution. Even with my fat ass in the driver's seat, the only seat, it doesn't put enough weight rearward. There needs to be more weight over the back. Think about all of the stuff in the nose of this and how much that weighs, and then realize, yeah, because I think these only weigh like 1,400 pounds or something like that. So the braking performance is awesome, but hard braking, I don't think I'm getting the rear wheel off the ground, but I mean, it feels like if you did it in a panic stop, you could, and that is not reassuring. Everything else is fun. This is an entertaining machine. It's priced well compared to the competition. It has really cool looks. It looks light years better than the Slingshot. That thing is terrible. So looks good, priced right for the competition. So if you're in the market for one of these, this is a cool one to consider. Personally, I'm a Morgan three-wheeler fan myself, but this is better than I thought it would be, which is good for it. There's maybe a few driving dynamics kinks to work out from the operation of the bump shifter, making that smoother, and weight distribution, especially under braking. And I think we're good from there. So there you go. Let's go drive it some more.